is Joshua Stewart, and I will be your host this season. The Kestrels will be hoping that they can add just a second win this season and restore some pride. We spoke to both coaches to see what their thoughts are ahead of their season finale. So, Annie, you were back here again, unfortunately after another loss, another close loss, this time to Bristol. How do you think the game went?
I can't fault our girls in the first half. I don't think we've ever scored 41 points this season in the first half, and when we played them away, we only scored 37 points. So to score 41 in the first half was phenomenal. Ruby Late shot the lights out. It's probably the best shooting game she's ever had. Just the second half killed us. We only scored 6 in the fourth quarter. I think I'm not going to blame the referees, but there were some decisions that didn't go our way. We were getting fouled like there was no tomorrow. I think both teams were, but they came through in the end. They're the more experienced team, and experience shows in these basketball games.
As you mentioned, Ruby Lake had a fantastic game. Is it really pleasing to see that those players are starting to grow as the season goes on and they're starting to come into their own?
Yeah, I think with Ruby, it's a massive confidence thing, and I've coached Ruby since she was under 14, so I know how to get, I'd like to say I know how to get the best out of her. I think she is more confident now. When she hits that first shot, she knows she's got it, so she just carried on shooting yesterday.
See, today's opponent's Reading. If we go back about a month, it was a very heartbreaking 1-point loss. Are you hoping you'll be able to turn that deficit over today?
Yeah, I think we can. I think looking out there, Reading only have 6 at the moment, so I'm hoping that we can take advantage of that. We have a squad of 12, so hopefully we can run the bench quite a bit. It just comes down to key rotations, key defence. We stopped Cleary and we stopped Karpova last game, so we need to do that again because they're their 2 main players.
Obviously, this is the last game of the season. It's the last game in the top division. Unfortunately, Kestrels have been relegated. So what's next for the club going into the new division next year?
I think it's just a rebuild again. We have some key juniors coming up, but again, they're not experienced in the senior level, so it's just getting them experience and getting us back into that top division.
Well, thank you for talking to us and good luck for today.
Thank you so much.
So, Luke, you're here at Solent Kestrels, a team you have beat already this season. Are you hoping to take advantage of that and make it a double?
It's going to be a completely different game than the first one. I mean, we're struggling out with the injuries with this double header now. We are coming to it with 6 players. I think we are going to compete, but obviously we are going to be struggling. We played yesterday as well as Solent did, but we are coming with a short roster today.
Obviously, that last game was just 1 point difference. What lessons did you take from that? Did you learn anything about the Solent Kestrels?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I thought that they weren't going to press in as much as they did, but they did a good job at home. They were pressing. Chile, I think, is the point guard. He was playing good. They were playing balanced balls inside, balls outside. It was a great game, to be fair. And now they are doing it so good. This end of the season, I think it was 3 tight games, and yesterday they lost by 8 or something like that. Yeah, they are doing it good.
Obviously, they've struggled so far this season, but as you mentioned, you've only got 6 players here today. Who are you looking to step up and hopefully lead the charge to another win?
I mean, to be fair, we need just one win to secure the 6th spot. We already secured the playoffs. Now for me, it's more to get every player back and be helpful for the playoffs. I mean, if we don't want to take any risk at all.
Obviously, this is coming to the end of the season now. So where are your views like now? Are you planning next year, or are you planning just for the playoffs? What's going on in your head?
No, we are focused with the playoffs. We are working for the playoffs. We have a great team, as we saw. We lost against East 2 games by less than 10. We could get Brent Bulls, Cola losing by less than 10. I think we can be on the top. We can win against everyone in this league. We just need a full roster, keep working, and be focused. That's it.
Well, thank you for talking to us. Good luck ahead of today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
There we heard from both coaches. As mentioned by you and Luque, 6 players have made the journey for Reading. That's how injury hit they are. Those players are Thompson, Cleary, Karpova, their captain, Jarju, Devereux and Di Stefano. That's all they are unfortunately able to bring. Meanwhile, on the other side of the court, it looks a lot busier with Blunt, Goddard, Late, Bartlett, Britton, McDowell, Uzumafuna, Adegoke, Liberto, Jackson, Cotterill and Kostova all on the bench. It should be a fantastic game with a team struggling for form in the Solent Kestrels being given the opportunity to try and beat a team a lot higher in the table. As was mentioned, Reading are in that 6th spot and have secured their playoff spot. They'll be hoping they can hold on and not fall down the rankings anymore. But in a game of 40 minutes, you need to be able to have players who come in and out and stay fresh and energetic. It's going to be very hard to do that when the opposing side has double the number of players to choose from. But Reading do have that mental advantage of knowing they've already beaten Solent with some injury problems. But as you see there, the Solent coach, Annie Scanlon, in the middle of her mass of players compared to their opposing team, giving her instructions, trying to exploit the opposite team and making sure that I'm sure that she'll be trying to wear them out fast and make sure that they can take advantage of that player advantage. There is a very slight delay here at the Solent Sports Complex. It's for a currently unclear reason, but we are sure that we will be able to bring you the action in very, very short time. As you see there, that is all the Reading players that have been able to make the journey. Reading and Southampton not necessarily close in proximity, but definitely one of the closer two teams to the Solent Kestrels. Not quite a local rival, but between them and Brighton, definitely the closest. And obviously we think back to that 1-point win for Reading and that 1-point loss for the Kestrels, where the Kestrels led for so much of the way but then just couldn't hold on for the win. It'll be interesting to see if a similar storyline plays out here. We're still awaiting news as to why the game has been delayed ever so slightly. As you see here, both teams happy to take the extra rest, taking their extra instructions on. Of course, Annie Scanlon always grateful for every extra second she has with her new team. Of course, coming in after Robbie Connell left midway through the season. So making up for lost time with her instructions and her style. Whereas Johan Luque had a lot more time to work well with his Reading side and drill in their own game plan. Of course, Reading having the form on their side. They did lose yesterday in a very tight game against the Brent Bulls by 8 points. Solent lost by the same margin to Bristol, but Bristol were a lower ranked side than Brent. Of course, Annie talked in her pre-match interview about the loss and mentioned Ruby Late, who was on spectacular form yesterday. If you did miss a game, it is still available online to watch on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Ruby Late was 4 from 4 from three-point range in the first half, and then was 5 from 5 going into the fourth quarter before eventually finishing on 5 from 6 three-point attempts in a fantastic display. Florrie Cotterill also had a great game as she sees her form take a huge rise with a double-double of 13 points and 15 rebounds. Both teams coming back out onto the court to keep themselves warm and run some final drills. As again, we are trying to find the reason why the game has been delayed slightly. This was originally a 12 a.m. tip-off, but slight confusion now. But as you see there, Reading not wanting to exert too much energy in this warm-up. you do not want to come into the game already slightly tired, especially when there's only one replacement available for the entire team. It does also pose the problem of foul trouble for Reading. With only one person able to come in, should someone foul out, they would be left with no substitutes, which, as any sport would know, leaves you in a very difficult situation. Solent also have the advantage of being able to spread out the fouls. So whilst the team foul count may end up being quite similar, to spread it among 6 and to spread it among 12 results in very different situations. Solent had some foul trouble yesterday here against Bristol, as again, Annie Scanlon mentioned in her pre-match talk, disagreed with some of the decisions, as I'm sure every coach does. But she'll be wanting to make sure that her side don't go into that signs of trouble again. She's done a good job so far of making sure that her style of play has been imparted quite strongly on the Solent Kestrels. There's been a clear change of identity since she come in, and has seen closer games as a result. Still without a win in her tenure, but with a lot closer losses. The clock to signify the start of the game has been reset to 90 seconds. We can only assume there have been technical issues. See Solent working on their mid-range jumpers. And so we have just been told why the game has been delayed. The statisticians for the game haven't yet arrived. They are unfortunately stuck in traffic, meaning we have had to delay tip-off. We are very sorry about this. Unfortunately, as I'm sure many of our viewers are aware, sometimes traffic just decides to throw plans awry. Fingers crossed though, we'll be able to get you a very hotly contested fixture to end this season very, very soon. This has not been the season of dreams, or even the season of sleepless nights for the Kestrels, with just one win so far. They have been relegated, and when they have won both the league and cup double last time out, it has been quite a fall from grace. But as ever, there's always next season, which is always the saving grace. As it seems, the statisticians have maybe arrived, and we become just that little bit closer to tip-off. We're again very sorry for the delay here. But next season in the Division 2 Women's League, the Kestrels will have the opportunity to bounce right back. It's been a very young squad this season for the Kestrels, often coming up against much more experienced opponents, much older opponents, and perhaps quite crucially, much bigger opponents, allowing the advantage of their opponents to get the physicality dominated early. But next year they'll have had a year of experience, they'll have adjusted to the demands of this upper age group, the senior game, and only time will tell how they get on next season as they plan ahead. You can see there the second round of final huddles is underway as Reading break up and come onto the court. The Kestrels, as you can see, a lot more in number out in white. Reading of course, in their red. As the final handshakes, the final fist bumps come out. And